As we come to the end of another year, I always find this to be the perfect time to reflect on how the previous year has been, but also to make some changes and commitments for the year to come. Now, I don't believe in New Year's resolutions. That's just me personally. I think we should make some commitments to change, and particularly changing our mindset, because ultimately everything starts in our mind. And if we don't change our mindset, we're literally just going to repeat the previous years. But anyway, I digress. So in today's video, I'll be giving you 7 habits that you need to start if you want to have a productive and successful 2022. Make sure you stay tuned to the end because I also have a bonus for you. So let's get into the video.
Now I'm stepping into my purpose. Everything else is worthless. Now that I'm living the promise.
The first habit you need to start this year is habit tracking. Now, I will be the first to admit that 2021 was not as productive for me as 2020 was. So I've taken the time to do the introspection to find out why that was the case. So if you haven't done your introspection yet, I highly recommend that you do. But I discovered that there were some habits I had in 2020 that I didn't continue into 2021. I discovered that I lost focus. I became distracted at times. I didn't have the same passion and drive for the things I needed to do like I did in 2020. So to make sure I don't repeat that in this coming year, I have ordered a weekly planner. Now, I don't know if you can see this, hopefully the camera will focus, but at the bottom there's a section that says habit tracker. And I fully intend to use this on a weekly basis. Now, there's a section, so it allows me to write what the habit is, how many times a week I want to do it, what the goal is, and then whether or not I've achieved it. So just as a random example, this isn't one of my habits, but just as a random example, if I want to walk for 15 minutes a day, 5 days a week, I'll be able to track that and see whether or not I achieve that every week. This is just a really great way to keep us accountable. So if you're not already tracking your habits, I highly recommend that you start to do that this year, because I'm sure I'm not the only person who feels like 2021 started in January. We blinked and it was October, and then it was Christmas, and hello 2022. So the year literally flew by, and one of the worst things for me is to get to the end of the year and realize that actually I didn't achieve as much as I wanted to, and I wasn't as productive as I should have been. So this is going to help me to not make those same mistakes, and I highly recommend you track your habits as well so that you can stay focused and have a very productive year. Number 2 is to work on something that inspires you, motivates you, or encourages you. Now, this could be anything from a project to writing a blog, writing a book, starting a side hustle, whatever you want to do. Just find something to work on. And the reason this is so important is because it would help you to stay focused. And when you achieve that thing, there's just something so amazing about that feeling. Now, shameless plug. These 2 books here, these 2 soap Bible study books, were things that I created in 2020, and I was so focused, and it was such an amazing feeling when these arrived through my door, because I remember the late nights. I remember when the idea first came into my mind. I remember being sat at the computer working on these books to make sure that they turned out the way that I wanted them to. And when I held those books in my hands, there was just a feeling that I can't describe. So my encouragement to you is to find something that will give you that feeling, because honestly, it was life-changing for me, and it inspired me to go on and create some more books as well. So if you want to check out the full range, they are on Amazon, and I'll put a link in the description of this video. Number 3 is journaling. Now, this is something that I don't do very often, if I'm honest, but I am committing to doing this a lot more in this coming year, and I encourage you to do the same, because the truth is there are times when things happen, and by the time we get to the end of the year, we forget that it happened. We forget what we achieved. We forget how we felt in a certain situation. Sometimes God may speak to us, give us direction and guidance, and we forget, especially in those tough times where the promise that He gave us seems so far out of reach. And so journaling is one way to help us to stay focused, but also it's another way for you, when you get to the end of the year, to look back and see the amazing things that have happened, but also to own up to some of the things that were not great. So journaling is something I will be doing in 2022, and I definitely recommend that you do it too. Number 4 is self-care. Sis, if you're not already doing this, please, you've got to start investing in self-care. Now, let me just say, Often people feel like self-care has to cost money, and people will say, oh, I can't afford to do this and I can't afford to go there. That may be your story, but self-care doesn't have to cost money. You can decide every Sunday night you're going to take a soak in the bath, light some candles, put on some soft music, and just escape for a moment to process the week and to get ready for the next week. That's self-care. You can paint your nails and just have that time locked in your room by yourself. That's self-care. Read a book, go for a walk. These are things that do not cost money. Now, of course, if you are in a position where you can afford to go for a massage, a spa day, spa break, or anything that really makes you feel relaxed, if you can afford to do so, then do it. But you don't have to always spend money to invest in self-care. It just requires you to be committed to looking after yourself and being able to carve some time out of your busy week to make it happen. Doesn't have to be every day. If you can do 30 minutes a day, it will change your whole life. But if you can only do 30 minutes a week, it will still change your life, because you have that moment to look forward to, that moment to de-stress, to relax, and to make sure that you are okay. So invest in self-care this year, and you will be surprised at the results in just a couple of months. I've got 3 more suggestions plus a bonus tip as well. But before we get into that, comment below and let us know one habit you will be starting this year. It can be something I've just mentioned, or it could be something that you've already decided to do. You never know who needs the inspiration. Number 5 is to have emotional check-ins on a regular basis. Find out how you're doing spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and identify the areas where you may be struggling. And then see who can help you and support you in those areas, and then reach out to them. It's really important to check in with yourself regularly. It supports your mental health, your emotional health, and absolutely is great for your spiritual health as well. So don't be afraid to ask yourself the question, and don't be afraid to give yourself an honest answer, and then reach out to those that can help you or make the changes that you need to make to release some of the pressure. Number 6 is to exercise regularly. Now, I know, exercise is not everybody's thing, and that's okay. I'm not a doctor, neither am I a personal trainer, but we all know that exercise is great for our physical bodies, but it also is great for our mental health as well. So it doesn't have to be 2 hours in the gym. Not everybody can do that. Not everybody wants to do that. But just as I gave the example earlier, you can decide to go for a 15-minute walk 5 times a week. That's exercise. You can go onto YouTube and find a workout video, start that video, share it with your friend, keep each other accountable. It doesn't have to cost money, but you will find that exercising regularly does wonders for your mental health and also for your physical body. Habit number 7 is by far one of my favorites on today's list, and it's to be kind to yourself. You are allowed to have off days. Show yourself some grace. I saw a quote online recently, and it said, "There is no award for the most overworked female of the year." Now that resonated with me, and I want to encourage you that you don't have to keep working in all of these different areas. As women, we wear so many different hats that if we're not careful, we are stretched so far, we have nothing left for ourselves, and we certainly have nothing left to give. So to make sure that you don't burn out, give yourself grace, be kind to yourself. No more negative talking, no more negative thinking. Fill your mind with positivity. Allow yourself to have those off days when you need it. It's okay. And the most important thing about this habit is that if you are not kind to yourself, when others are unkind to you, you'll feel comfortable in those situations, because that's how you treat yourself. That's your regular environment. So begin to be kind to yourself, and you will find that you will also begin to set boundaries with those around you as well. The bonus tip is to set yourself a challenge. Now, I feel motivated when I set myself a challenge, and I'm sure you will too. It can be anything. It could be to do with your spiritual walk. It could be your finances, your health, whatever it is. Set yourself a challenge, work towards it, accomplish it, and then set yourself another one, because you'll feel inspired and motivated that you can do these things. And sometimes we just need to break things down into small chunks. So you can have a 30-day challenge, a 3-month challenge, whatever it is that will make you do what you need to do. Set yourself that challenge. Now for me, one of my challenges for 2022 is to show up in video more often on Instagram. So if you're not following us on Instagram, our handle is @JewelPurpose.co. But the reason I set that challenge is because it's not something that I've done previously, but I recognize that we are a growing community and I need to be the face of this ministry, the face of this brand. So that's something that I have challenged myself to do. So what is your challenge for this year? Comment below if you're comfortable to share it with us so that we can help to keep you accountable. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you will start some of these habits in this coming year to make sure that your year is successful and productive. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.